I recently had a client where it was alleged against her that she had her children out past 2 o'clock in the morning, and the children were probably about 5 years old. Needless to say, you don't have children out till 2 o'clock in the morning that are age 5. So DCF gets the report. What are they supposed to do? They got no choice but to screen it in and see if this is true or untrue. And there was allegations that the mother was drinking at the bar while the children were running amok throughout this bar. So the first thing I did after speaking to the client was get a hold of the facts, which was this was a Sunday night. And all of a sudden my head starts spinning. Sunday night. There's no bar open in Massachusetts past 1 a.m. that I'm aware of. Especially when they were saying that Ma was in. So I traveled down to this bar and I spoke to the staff at the bar. And they told me point blank that we're open till 1 o'clock, but we start shutting down about 12:25, 12:20. Start cleaning, washing, so forth and so on. We don't serve any alcohol after 12:30. So right there, right then, I knew that these allegations were bogus and they were false. That this bar closed down at 1 p.m. But we went backwards to find out who the staff was that had worked the night in question. And we corroborated with them that there's no way, no how, that this bar was open past 1 o'clock. Because it would have been in violation, a very significant violation, of the Alcohol Beverage Commission, called the ABC in Massachusetts. But yet, DCF, when they did the investigation, never went to the scene, never went to this bar, never spoke to any of the collaterals that worked at the bar, and more importantly, didn't speak to any of the collaterals that worked at the bar on the date and the night in question that these children were in this bar till 2 a.m. in the morning, which was just garbage. And if DCF had, they would have heard exactly what I heard. That the bar was closed, that they closed it at 1 o'clock, that the bar would never, ever be open at 2 o'clock in the morning because they would be fined, heavily fined, and lose their liquor license. It's not something that someone that's a proprietor of selling alcohol to make money wants to lose their golden ticket, their liquor license. And so from that point on, once we had the information, it was just a question of presenting it to DCF, making sure the right people had the information, understood what the information was, that we weren't using abracadabra, hocus pocus, smoke and mirrors, but rather had tangible, solid evidence that no one could dispute. It was beyond reproach. And once DCF had that, DCF wanted to do the right thing. They wanted to do the right thing by my client, her children, and unsupport, reverse, and overturn the allegation of neglect, which is what they did. Everybody went home happy. DCF was happy because the right thing was done. My client was happy because she had the allegations taken away from her. And that's the way it should be. But the moral of the story is you got to get the right information to the right people at DCF so they can understand what has or has not happened. In this case, this was Captain Obvious. The bar closed at 1 a.m. No way, no how, the mother was in that bar at 2 a.m. with her children running around. That was just bogus, false information.